Real quick, can you just say,
Good times.
if you want more content from We Studios, check us out at wepodcast.com.
If you want more content,
If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at wepodcast.com.
I need cue cards for that. I'm too drunk right now.
All right. So, yeah, go there if you want to check out our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever. Check out our Reddit, our Twitter, all that jazz.
It's all there. All the links are there. And while you're there, you can also click our Amazon links, which help keep the show free. We get a little small cut. Or you can just go to amazon.wepodcast.com. That's amazon.weepodcast.com.
WePodcast.com.
Whoa! 60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we're talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after.
And we have a guest here today. He's in the studio. He's sitting next to us. He is sweating in the wee sweat lodge alongside Jack and I, Mr. Kevin Howard.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Jack.
Hey, Kevin. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Kevin, we went to school together. We went to film school together.
Yes, we did.
Way back when. We did some, we had a live TV production class.
Yes, I had to take that a year late, so I got lucky enough to be in your class.
Yeah, see?
Lucky's one way
It
of
was
putting
fate. It was fate. Well, Dan skipped kindergarten. He
That's
was
true.
lucky enough to be in my high school class.
God.
So, you know, I feel like, what was that? The Adjustment Bureau. I think everybody's on a path to, at some point, take a class with Jack.
You're absolutely right. Roger Sterling in a little fedora cap is mixing all of our lives around.
Did you guys see Adjustment Bureau?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the moment? I mean, I didn't know what the movie was really about. Do you
Yeah.
remember the moment John Slattery's hat blows off in the middle of like this intense chase,
Yeah.
and he runs and goes and gets the hat, and you're like, why is he getting that hat?
Is this a movie about magic hats? And it was.
It
And
later
it
paid
is.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
it later paid
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
But
yeah.
at the time, you're just like, why is he going back for his hat?
Yeah, decent movie. I don't know.
No, I liked it. I liked it.
I've only seen it the once, and yes, it is about magic hats. But
Yes.
we're not here to talk about magic hats, unless, of course, Kevin decides that's his topic. What are we here to discuss, Jack? We are here with 90s topics, right?
Yeah, that's how
we're just talking 90s.
You guys submit topics. We put them into our random topic generator.
That's right.
We've also called it the
Wheel of
the
Death?
kill machine.
Is it the Wheel of Death?
Wheel of Death.
Yes, because death is a topic, and if it comes up, we will kill ourselves.
Exactly.
Live on this podcast. I don't know who will release it then. Do we
I-
need to put it in one of our wills?
I'm just a little bit more concerned about who keeps submitting the topic death.
Yeah.
That's.
I've had to prune out a few deaths and just keep it at the one death.
Also, we're getting snail mail. Like that's not even part
We
of the
are,
random
yeah.
topic generator. Yeah, we're just getting just index cards in our mailbox.
Yeah,
that just
it's
says
weird.
death.
I think someone's trying to tell us something, but I don't know what.
I don't know.
I can't figure
Be
it out.
Clear.
So anyway, guys, we are about to do your 90s topics. And Kevin, as our guest, it is your right. I don't know if you're aware of this, but you have rights on this podcast.
To party.
Well, he has to fight for that right.
Oh, okay.
That's not a
That's
given.
not a given.
Not a given right.
It's not.
No, it's not. There's a Supreme Court fight right now for
I
your
know,
right
but-
to party.
Merrick Garland. The
It's
reason
true.
they won't put him on the court is because he wants it to be a given right to party.
Boy,
And,
this country's
yeah.
legislative system is just going to hell.
Trump and Pence, they want you to fight for it.
That's right. Trump is very much against your right to party.
Well, he wants you to earn it via
You know,
fighting.
I don't care for him. I don't know. Anyway, Kevin, you can choose our first topic, or you can go into the Wheel of Death with us. It's a magical adventure into a wheel where we pick the first random topic from one of our listener suggestions. So
Let's do the wheel.
Oh, I believe you are our first guest to waive his
He's
rights.
not our first guest, but
He's not our first guest?
I think
What were the
Billy
other-
Cameron spun the wheel, and we ended up getting cigar aficionado.
Oh, you are
So
right. You're right. I thought Billy came in with that. I thought he just really wanted to talk
you
about
really want
cigars.
to talk about cigars. No, Kevin, you're a perfect guest. I was telling you this before for the Wheel of Death because you're 90s nostalgic. I don't know, oeuvre, trivia, knowledge. I was trying to avoid the word knowledge because it seems. But anyway, I remember. So we were in class together, but we weren't like best of friends. We just kind of were acquaintances.
We didn't dislike each other.
No, we didn't dislike each other.
That's not what you told me, Jack.
But I remember them. I do remember the moment I was like, "Hey, this Kevin Howard guy, he's really cool," and I would get along really well with him outside of class. Was for some reason, I forget why, I posted as my Facebook status, "Time to leave, Dr. Doak," which is an obscure a line from the GoldenEye Nintendo 64 game. And Kevin was the only one to like it.
Nice.
And I was just like,
Friendship is formed.
I was like, he gets me. He gets me.
That's great.
Time to leave, Dr. Doak. So anyway, I have full faith that you can handle whatever topic comes up. I don't know about me and Dan, but
Well, I've already got the topic, and
Okay.
it's definitely one that we can handle.
okay.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people have been wanting to hear us talk about it. It is Futurama Season 1.
Wow.
The
Okay.
only 90s season of Futurama, I believe.
Kevin, have you watched Futurama?
That is the only season I've seen.
There you go.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's the only season I've rewatched because it's the only
Really?
one I have on DVD.
You guys are not big Futurama guys.
I'm
No.
a huge Futurama fan,
but just season 1?
I think you might remember how upset I was in high school when they moved it to the 7 o'clock time slot.
I
and
was
just
pretty
like,
upset.
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching TV at 7 p.m.
The great Jack boycott of 2000,
I
of
know.
course.
So I know I actually have only seen Futurama episodes 2, 3, 4, 5 times compared to Simpsons episodes, which would be 20, 30, 40, 50,
Yeah,
200,
well,
300,
I'm probably in
400,
a similar
500
boat
times.
where I've seen them like 4 or 5 times as opposed to... And actually, the most recent episodes, I haven't even seen them.
The
Like,
Comedy Central ones I watched, the season 3, the 7 p.m. era of Futurama, there's certain episodes I think I've never seen at all. Like the dog, that famous episode with the dog.
You've never seen Jurassic
I
Bark?
saw it once.
What?
Yeah.
That's
And I
sacrilege.
don't remember. Yeah, I remember broad strokes.
Yeah.
Dog and sadness.
I saw
Seymour.
that one because it's so heavily
It's a very
referenced.
famous episode. Yeah,
It is, but it didn't air in the 90s.
So let's talk season 1.
So let's talk season 1. We can actually talk a few episodes of season 2. Apparently, there are 17 episodes that aired in the 90s. So we're only going to talk about those ones.
Okay.
Not Jurassic Bark.
We should mention
Or the
we
movies.
should do what we normally don't do and assume that there's listeners that have no idea what we're talking about right now.
Right.
Dan, what is Futurama?
Futurama, it was a television series that was also created by Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons.
Never heard of it.
It is, well, it's a little known show. There's some podcasts about it. One is called Worst Episode Ever, and it's terrible. But moving
Is that
on.
the one with all the voices?
That's the one with all the silly voices, and it's like, why are there voices on The
I
Simpsons
didn't realize
podcast?
it was a Simpsons podcast.
Yeah. Well, it says it right in the title. It's Worst Episode Ever, parentheses, a Simpsons podcast. They made sure that you knew what you were getting into. We should also add a Simpsons podcast / funny voices.
We should a funny voices podcast.
Okay. We may change the title of Worst Episode Ever to a funny voices podcast.
Just stamp out those 3 or 4 listeners still holding out that will stop doing voices.
Right. But anyway, Futurama, it's the story of a guy. His name is, it's the story of a girl who
This
cried a
is
river
the
and
story
drowned
of
the
a
whole
guy.
world.
This is the story of a fry.
Go on.
Then
Okay,
she'll
maybe
cry.
don't go on. Don't go on.
Bow, bow, bow.
9 days,
how
absolutely.
How many days in a year? How many thousand? How many years in a millennium? This is the story of how he will freeze.
I was going to say, what is Jack going to rhyme millennium with? And then you just said freeze.
It's freeform.
All right.
9 days was experimental. All right, they were the John Cage of their day.
Absolutely.
hot in here.
It is very, very hot in the studio today. Futurama was a show. Pizza guy, Philip Fry. I never realized that rhymed until just now. He gets frozen in 1999 and wakes up in 2999, and then it's 3000, so he's 1,000 years in the future, and there's all sorts of aliens and robots, and it's a wacky science fiction show that had several Harvard doctorates
Yeah,
on its
and I
writing
would
staff.
say
So it was a fun nerdy show, I would
Maybe
say.
not right away in season 1, but compared to The Simpsons, which a lot of people would make that the closest comparison to, because the animation style is similar and it's Matt Groening.
Yeah.
A lot of the same voices. But I would say it's much more character-based. There was more of a story progression, character progression between the relationships of the characters. It was less episodic than The Simpsons.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. There was maybe not overarching storylines, but things changed episode to episode, whereas I think The Simpsons is like status quo resets pretty much at the end of every episode.
And I do think it's tough to say because The Simpsons at its prime, there's certainly a lot of the jokes are funny because they're coming out of the mouths of the characters saying them.
Right.
But I think Futurama was much more so. Like a Zoidberg line is only funny because it's coming out of Zoidberg.
Yeah,
you can
I'll give you that.
much. You can almost know what Bender is going to
Why
say
not
next.
Zoidberg?
Exactly.
I'm curious, Kevin, you said you only watched season 1.
Yes.
Did you watch it like when it was airing and you haven't seen it since?
I watched it live. Yeah, I haven't seen it since. I
Wow.
watched it because of the Simpsons pedigree.
Okay.
And I think the reason I stopped is that it seemed like a lot of work.
Just to watch the show was work.
There was the whole future language, and people were...
True.
I guess there were internet forums to...
Yeah, back in the
translate.
day. So if you don't know what we're talking about, Futurama had this. It was kind of a background gag where there was an alien cipher language.
I don't think I knew this.
Oh, there's actually there's two of them. There was one that was easy, and there was one that was insanely difficult. They've both been cracked long before. And now you can go online and see what the messages were. But you'd see like graffiti in this alien font in the background of a scene, and if you translated it, it would be something funny like, you know, you're a
That is
nerd for
lot.
translating
That's
this.
a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
I don't need
it
to
was
work
a turnoff.
That's too much.
That's why the show got canceled and brought back so many times.
I have no interest in stuff like. I'm sure some people do, but like alternate reality games.
Yeah.
I just
Nope.
I can't get into them.
No, I have too many things to do.
And you know, shows I really like because I'm a big sci-fi guy. They're the shows that do this type of stuff, and I'm just you know.
I would say that things like that, like, I think it's interesting that they do them, but I just go online and just like Google like what
The
was the
answers.
translation.
Yeah, wait till it's over and then.
Exactly. Like Gravity Falls is a fantastic show. I think it's over now. But it was very much like a mystery show. It was kind of like a Twin Peaks for kids
Okay.
type thing. Even though I haven't seen Twin Peaks.
I think somebody in our comment thread or Reddit for a Twin Peaks episode said Gravity
Somebody
Falls.
had brought up Gravity Falls. Yeah, it's a great show. I think it's on Hulu now if you want to watch it. But they had like a similar like cipher language in the background thing or at the end of the episodes. And I would always see it and be like, I wonder what that says. And I would just Google it immediately. And they're like, oh, it said this. Great. I just like that one person needs to do the work now and just put it online.
Yep.
That's the problem. I think that's the problem with it. Not necessarily. I could see how it could be fun doing the work and it could be fun communicating with people about it, just like how Lost was fun week to week, just doing fan
Yep.
theories. I think the problem is the payoff is never anything worth it. It usually is just like some simple sentence like, hey, you know, David X. Cohen was here, or something like that. It's just like, what was the point?
That was it in every episode. It just said David X. Cohen was here. He was a showrunner of the show.
Well, we should mention the writers. A lot of them were like math PhDs.
Right. I already did mention it, but that's okay.
They put a lot of like not just these cipher languages. A lot of the jokes were only funny if you knew advanced mathematics and physics and stuff.
There's actually an episode where I don't know if Kevin, you've definitely not seen it because it was like season 7 when it came back, I think, from Comedy Central.
So get out.
So get the hell out of here. But it was an episode where they were switching bodies, and a brain could switch with a body once,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it couldn't
yeah, yeah.
switch back. And it was like, how do we get everyone back into their same bodies? They actually crafted a new mathematical theorem just to get the answer for that. So if that episode is mathematically sound and they like show the actual formula on a board, so if you're a big nerd, you could look it up and be like, oh, this is very interesting.
Like that's great.
Yeah.
But am I laughing any harder at that than I am at the SNL sketch where everybody's puking? You know,
I don't know. Are you?
Is it worth the work? I don't know.
Well, I would imagine, you know, these math nerds have fun like doing that kind of
Oh, I'm
stuff. It's
sure,
fun for
yeah.
them creating the show, and at least a
Is
very
it fun for Fox to be like, you know, in the time you took to do that, that we're paying you by the hour, you could have made 3 episodes.
they're probably not paid by the hour. You think?
I think it's a wage job. I
think
think it's off the books.
Do they get overtime?
I think it's
off the books.
I think it's under the table.
Okay.
I think you get $20
That's
ship
how
pay
you make
plus
so much
tips.
money. Oh man. All right.
I don't know. I clearly
Tips.
don't work in TV.
I think David X. Cohen got a lot of tips when he was writing Futurama. But anyway, Kevin, I'm curious. Do you remember any episodes from the first season? I want you to recreate an episode from your memory of 17 years ago, if you can.
All right. Bow,
Sure.
bow. Bow, 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 bow. The spaceship goes into this, crashes into the big giant TV.
Yep.
And
I'm glad I asked Kevin to do
Yeah,
this.
fade in, Kevin.
I remember the pilot. I remember a pizza delivery guy. He, I think, is pranked into going to an empty laboratory and falls into a cryogenic chamber.
Correct.
And then he wakes up in the future. And his descendant is a very old man. And he goes through a machine to determine his best career, which is
Correct.
delivery boy.
Yeah. That's the first episode in a nutshell.
Yes.
They do retcon that, though. It turns out
Well,
not to be a prank. Right?
It's not a retcon. It was planned from the beginning.
Oh, really?
Because if you go back to the first... So what Jack is referring to, if you've never seen Futurama, mild spoilers ahead, it turns out that Fry was destined to come to the future because he was needed by this race of aliens. And if you actually watch the pilot, you'll see there's a shadow of the alien that pushes him into the
Really?
cryogenic chamber.
Really?
Yeah.
So
You should watch Futurama. It's a very good show.
so it wasn't even like a loosely planned. All right, let's say that at some point we know that Fry actually was there for a reason. They actually have a shadow of the type of alien.
Correct.
Which
So
and
it's-
that type of alien, spoilers, is set up much earlier as not an intelligent species. You think it's just like this,
Right.
this
Well,
little pet.
it's Nibbler who
Is that little thing?
Yeah,
with-
Leela's pet
Yeah,
Nibbler, who
I
comes in, I
remember
think,
that
in
one.
the 4th episode. Yeah, you can see a shadow. It's like a circle with the stalk with his eye on the stalk. You can pretty clearly see it in the 1st episode.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a nerdy show.
There's 2 things I want to talk
It's a good show.
about
The internet loves
Futurama's
it.
future right there. First of all, creature design, the
Yeah.
stalk with the eyeball. I loved how they have fun with it. I think a lot of our listeners can be happy to hear this. So this is our first episode we've recorded in a long time.
Yeah, I was in Japan.
You were in Japan.
Speaking of creature design.
And I've been busy while you were in Japan, Dan.
Oh, no.
I have watched the entire run of Rick and Morty since you've been
Have you
gone.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And as I was watching it, the biggest comparison I could make was to Futurama,
Absolutely.
where they have these very hard sci-fi tropes and soft sci-fi tropes, these classic sci-fi tropes, and they just have fun with them.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
their creature designs especially reminded me of Futurama, where they're like, this is probably not the most realistic type of alien, but it's when you picture it like an old school cartoon alien, that's it, with a
Right.
stalk and an eyeball in its eye, and,
Yep.
and they have fun with it. So Rick and Morty really reminded me of that, and Futurama is great with those kinds of designs.
I'm so happy you watched Rick and Morty. So Futurama, goodbye. We're going to talk about Rick and Morty now.
Whoa. Kevin, have you seen Rick and Morty? No. So we'll talk Rick and Morty another time.
No, I don't
Will
wanna-
we? Will we, Jack? Is that a promise?
Talk about it in the lens of Futurama.
It's better than Futurama. I'm just going to say it. And I love Futurama. I think Rick and Morty is just a fantastic show.
I think they're two different sides of a same coin, or two same sides of a two
No, you
different
have-
coins.
I think it is
maybe?
two
I'm
faces,
not sure.
two-sided coin, and Rick and Morty is the scarred one, because that's the one you always wanted to see Two-Face get, right? You want to see him kill Robin or whatever.
Yep.
All right, so fine.
Well,
let's
all
talk
right, so
about,
let me talk about
Futurama.
the other thing that we can talk about. Rick and Morty also does a great job of setting up these alternate universes and stuff. Futurama, I love the real world implications of the future, but I think in the pilot it started off really strong, and I think that kind of fell by the wayside as the show became more character based and more sillier.
Are you
But,
talking about like the
the
satire of the
the
future?
satire of the future. So in the pilot, you have the suicide booths where people can just
Right.
walk
Yep.
in and kill themselves. And what Kevin had mentioned, basically your career is determined by a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that says a lot about how modern capitalist society, we're kind of herded into where we're supposed to go. Obviously we're free to do whatever we want, but a lot of people do kind of have their career determined for them, or at least a group of careers. And I thought Futurama was starting to comment on stuff like that. Fry is meant to be a delivery boy. That's it. But he wants to be something bigger, but he's not going to be.
Right.
Leela was, I forget what she was. She worked for the career.
She worked for the
department.
career company. Yeah.
And she wanted to be something much more. She wanted to be like an adventurer. So but I think after the pilot, that kind of goes away. It shows up here and there.
Again, I have not watched the latest few seasons of the show, but I think it came back at some point.
That's true. The 2 Comedy Central seasons, every week was like a new topic. It's just like, hey, how about reality TV? Hey, how about iPhones? But it was
Right, I
kind
remember
of
the iPhone one.
broader. It was
Well, no. I specifically meant the career thing. I
Oh,
thought there was
okay.
an episode or 2 at the end
I
that
don't remember.
had something to do with it. I didn't see it. It's just internet osmosis. I've just
yeah,
picked
exactly,
things up.
Exactly.
All right. Well, what else do we have to say about season 1, specifically of Futurama?
The,
We got the Beastie Boys.
The episode I always remember is the Beastie Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the episode where they
Where
go to
Bender goes
hell?
to hell.
Robot
Yep.
hell. Yeah, that's the episode is my favorite episode.
That is a great episode. Have you seen that one,
No.
Kevin? Oh, man. So you didn't even watch all of season 1. You
think
dipped
I
your toe.
did. Yeah.
You were just like,
I
not
remember,
for me. Too many alien languages.
A guy named Zap Brannigan.
There is Zap Brannigan. He was
Who
phenomenal.
was supposed to be Phil Hartman.
He was, yeah.
Phil Hartman was very early in the production. They were like, we got to get Phil Hartman in. He was doing all the voices on Simpsons, Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz. And,
Yeah.
And then he was murdered, I guess, when they were still drawing the show or writing it? Or,
Yeah, he got killed in 1997, I want to say.
so Futurama was well on its way to getting made by then. And so he was replaced, I guess, by
By Billy West.
By Billy West, who does
does Fry and
who
the Professor.
He also did
Zoidberg.
Stimpy.
Stimpy.
Yeah. Billy West, prolific voice actor. He
did he-
did Doug.
Was he Doug?
He was Doug.
He was
Did he do
Doug.
Yep.
Bugs Bunny in Space Jam? Is that
He
I
accurate?
may
believe
have.
he took over. Yeah.
He may have. But talk about obscure 90s topics featuring Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman did the voice of a video game called Blasto. I think it was called Blasto. It was a PlayStation game about like a superhero space adventurer who basically was Zap Brannigan.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you want to hear what Phil Hartman would have been like, go track down that game from 25 years ago and that you probably can't even play anymore.
Blasto sounds like a weird
think it was called
inside
Blasto.
joke that they would throw into every J.J. Abrams movie.
I finally saw 10 Cloverfield Lane,
What
by
do
the
you
way.
think?
Speaking of things.
What do you think?
I liked it, but I wish that it wasn't a Cloverfield
That's
movie.
what I wanted
because
to tell you. Me
Yeah,
and Dan
I figured that's
me
what
and
it
Dan
was.
had an intense conversation. We're both like to go into movies cold and
Yep.
spoiler free.
Me too.
And I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. Did you see it?
I did.
Okay, so spoilers. for the
Spoilers,
next,
but
like, 2
we kind of
minutes.
already spoiled it.
Yeah, I guess we did. But basically, it has
the title
nothing-
spoils it,
It has
really.
nothing to do with Cloverfield. Literally nothing.
Right.
It takes place in a completely separate
Well,
universe.
that's not true. It's not. It absolutely has to do with Cloverfield.
How?
Wait a minute. So that's not okay. Hang on. We're gonna have to talk about this ending. There's an alien invasion in the
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Yeah.
In the first Cloverfield, you got the giant monster who came,
Yeah.
and now there's these other monsters who have also come.
Could be, but that's an interpretation. That is not fact.
Yeah. Isn't the first alien from Earth?
Yeah, the first alien's from Earth.
Or has been on Earth for a
It has been
while.
on Earth because you see it come like out from the water at the very last
It's
shot. Or
backstory.
something.
You
It's all
see
backstory.
a
Right.
satellite fall from the sky and
Right,
wake
that
it
was
up.
it. That was
Yeah.
it. Yes.
But I think even the writer and director of the movie basically said, no, these are not the same universe. Basically, the title Cloverfield is meant to be evocative of a tone. Like here's a horror sci-fi movie in a realistic fashion. It's kind of like
that's not how I took it.
But that's how the
Well-
creator said. It's like Halloween 3. John Carpenter always wanted the Halloween series to basically every Halloween movie would be a completely different scary movie. Mike Myers was only supposed to be the first 2. It was actually only supposed to be the first one, but then it was so successful they made it to. Halloween 3 is completely different. It's about this guy who poisons candy. It bombs, so then they were like, all right, Halloween's just Mike Myers
Right,
movies.
back to Mike
But
Myers.
it's supposed to be like a Twilight Zone thing where every episode takes place in its own self-contained
That's not at all
universe.
what I see. Here's what I thought it was, and I've listened to a lot of things with the director and different people commenting on the movie. I thought, and going into it, this is what I thought. It's a connection of the Cloverfield universe, let's say, where there has been an alien invasion and kind of an attack. And the beginning of 10 Cloverfield Lane, this woman is in a car accident and wakes up in this bunker, and it's like, no, you can't go outside because there's been an apocalypse. And I was like, yeah, of course there was. There's a giant monster in New York. There's probably giant monsters elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then at the end, she gets out, and there's giant monsters everywhere. So I was like, there's no tension here. I never for a second was like,
Except
he's
there was
lying.
never a Cloverfield monster in this universe. She was just
It's a similar monster at the end, though.
not quite,
It
not
looks
really.
different.
They're both big monsters.
Yeah.
It's
Godzilla
they're-
and
no,
Mothra.
they're space worms. They're exactly what John Goodman said.
No, they're not worms.
No,
it's not
there's-
like Tremors.
There's a line in the movie where he goes, I don't know what's going on out there, but I know it's dangerous. You know, it could be the Russians, it could be the
Right.
Chinese,
The
it
Martians.
could be space worms for all I know. And then it literally turned out to be like a giant worm with teeth.
I thought it had a bunch of legs. I don't remember.
I
watched this
remember
on a
legs
plane.
and a ship.
I remember a ship. Yeah, because she
Yeah,
blows
no,
up
they
a
had
ship at the
ships.
end.
Yeah,
And a-
no,
a
it's a
poison gas.
completely different sci-fi movie. The Cloverfield title, besides there being a word Cloverfield in the movie, is supposed to be, hey, what would this wacky sci-fi thing be like in a grounded, realistic setting?
Yeah, that's not what I got out of it. I thought it was
That's what
saying.
it is.
I don't think it is. I don't think you're right.
I think it was like Ocean's 12 or Die Hard 3, where somebody wrote a script
Oh,
and
well,
the
it
studio
100%
said,
was.
It
this
was.
is okay, but let's attach it to an existing franchise.
Yeah.
Then
No,
we'll make it.
that was
Well,
definitely part of it.
Having heard like a lot of with the director, I've listened to a lot of interviews with him after I watched the movie. The movie already had the monsters at the end, and
Yeah.
it was just added. Like, let's call it
Okay.
a Cloverfield movie.
which
so
is
that was not
great,
tacked on.
Except this is why I really had a problem with the movie. I wish I didn't know it was a Cloverfield movie.
Right,
because
that's
that
my
twist
problem,
would have
too.
been great.
Yeah,
but
okay,
the
I completely
entire
agree.
time I was expecting the Cloverfield monster to play into it somehow. I knew the entire time that it was a sci-fi movie. That even if it's realistic and grounded in this character drama, I knew that it was existing in a sci-fi world, and that it fucked with my expectations.
Right. Completely agree. How did we get onto this after talking about Futurama? We were
forget.
talking about giant worms in
Yeah,
Futurama.
but anyway, that's why I was trying to tell you without spoiling it. I was like, don't I wanted to tell you,
Don't expect it to
expect
be-
there to be a Cloverfield monster.
Right. That's basically
But
what
I
I
didn't want
interpreted
to.
it
I
to
couldn't
be.
say that without spoiling it.
Yeah.
So
All right, so end of spoilers for Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane. As if someone will
was the
jump right to
was
that
the
moment.
Futurama episode where they go inside Fry or somebody? They go inside somebody's body.
They go into Fry. Fry eats an egg sandwich from a space truck stop, and it gives him a stomach ache, and it turns out he got parasites. The eggs were worm eggs, and they're living inside of him and actually making him better.
Yeah,
that was a great episode.
So was that season one?
No, but let's just talk about it
Because I
anyway.
remember I had a Futurama calendar freshman year,
Yeah.
and I remember I had a picture of Zoidberg riding a giant sperm on a
Yes.
saddle, and I just thought that was the funniest image in the world.
Yes.
So that's why that popped in
And
my
he,
head.
he comes in the episode and says, "Friends, guess where I've been."
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good moment.
Zoidberg is an amazing character.
Yes, great show, Futurama. I feel like we could talk a lot about Futurama, but
This
maybe
is what
we
we were
should.
saying last week. We need more specific suggestions when
Yeah,
it comes to stuff like this.
That's true, and I feel like we're also at some point going to do the Futurama crossover episode with The Simpsons
That's
on
true,
our
too.
Simpsons show. We'll probably do a lot
You
of
mean
Futurama.
our Funny Voices
on
podcast?
the worst episode ever, parentheses, a Funny Voices podcast. So I think we should probably limit our Futurama talk and maybe move on to another topic.
I'm okay with
Because we
that.
got Kevin
Sure.
here. He came all this way. He's sweating it up with us. I feel like we should get another
I
topic
think
that
we
maybe
should,
he can
I
speak
think
a
we
little
should
more
talk
on.
more about 10 Cloverfield Lane.
All right. Spoilers again for 10 Cloverfield Lane. John Goodman was in it.
Was he good or was he hamming it up?
I thought he was pretty good, actually.
It was great.
Yeah. I went back and forth. I was like, it's a little hammy,
Yeah.
but I never blamed him. I was blaming the director because,
Yeah.
John Goodman knew exactly what he was doing.
I also watched on the plane, kind of thinking about Rick and Morty. Dan Harmon works on Rick and Morty, and he also produced a movie called Anomalisa. Did
Yes.
you guys see that
Oh,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
What'd you guys think of that?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Also loved it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're in agreement.
No,
All right.
it was fantastic.
Yeah. Tom Noonan.
Yes.
A revelation.
Hell on Wheels is Tom Noonan.
Wow. All right. That's true. Everyone should watch Hell on Wheels.
Is it Hell or
In its-
Hell?
in its
Hell's.
final season.
Oh yeah, of course it's Hell.
Hell's on
I don't know,
Wheels.
you both said Hell on Wheels.
Hell
I was like,
spells?
that's you're saying it wrong.
It's Hell on Wheels. Well,
It's Hell's Bells on Wheels. I've only seen the first season. I really liked it. I just never got around to watching the rest.
it's a wonderful show.
It's got Cole Meany
It
Yes.
does have Calm
Who,
Meaning.
and
Common.
Common.
Common Meaning.
The and the lead is great, and everybody gives him shit because he starred in the Britney Spears movie.
Oh, did he?
Oh, he's in
He was
Crossroads.
in
That's right.
Crossroads?
Yeah.
He's the
An-
hunk.
What's it? Ansel Elgort. That's him. No.
Anson Mount.
Anson Mount. That's it. Yes.
What a name.
Yeah.
That's a man.
That's what you get for a cowboy on Hell's Bells a Poppin' or whatever you call it.
Hell's Bells are popping. Prestige, AMC, drama.
Absolutely.
What was the what were we just saying right before that?
Anomalisa. We were talking about
Anomalisa.
Tom Noonan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I kept waiting. I'll be just sorry to interrupt you. I kept waiting for him to turn to the protagonist and just go, "Needs more nuke," which is a reference to an episode from our Simpsons show and RoboCop 2.
No, I didn't know who was doing the voices. I don't think until afterwards, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome." I mean, it took me. I went in completely cold.
I also
didn't know
went in
it-
totally cold,
So it
yeah.
took me 15 minutes to realize that everybody had the same.
Well, I wouldn't spoil
Voice?
it. Don't spoil it. Don't. Because I think this is a movie that not a lot of people have seen, and it's better if people watch it without
Okay.
knowing what
It's
it is.
Charlie Kaufman.
Because it
He-
unfolds
yeah.
like what's actually going on, and you can kind of draw your own interpretations
anyway,
of
it's a
it.
puppet movie.
It's a puppet movie that Dan Harmon's Starburns Industries, that's his animation studio, helped produce it.
Yeah, the
So-
puppets look great. They filmed it in a warehouse in Brooklyn that was completely light sealed. And the puppets were fairly big. I think they were like a third scale size of humans.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And they also a lot of the movie takes place in a hotel room, and it's
Right.
very it almost works as a play. Very few locations. But so say this hotel room, there was actually like a dozen of these hotel rooms they made because it was such a bitch to relight and do all this stuff. So they
Yeah.
just created the same set over and over, and I think they may have even filmed multiple scenes at the same time because there's really nobody directing. It's basically just the puppeteers are doing their stuff.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Kaufman's directing came probably more in the voice booth, I would imagine.
Probably, or
And
editing maybe,
writing,
too.
making the shot lists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very interesting production. I
Yeah.
recommend it to everybody.
Great movie. Yeah, definitely
I'm
check
a
it out.
huge Charlie Kaufman
It's on VOD.
Yeah.
If you fly to Japan, it'll probably be on your flight. So, just do that.
There you go.
I also watched Batman v Superman, which we could spend an entire different podcast talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to bring it up.
We have talked about it for 5 hours on our sync points.
True, but I hadn't seen it yet. Now I've seen
nobody
it.
had seen it yet. It hadn't been out
Well,
yet.
I think we should do we may need to do a sync points for Batman v
I'm
Superman.
down for that because again, I've said it before.
We'll do
I
the
like
9-hour
Man of
extended
Steel.
edition.
I think Man of Steel has a lot of
I
pros.
think you're wrong.
I like it too.
Yeah. Whereas,
outnumbered.
Two against
did
one.
you like Batman vs Superman?
I didn't see it, and I want to rent it on iTunes, but you can only buy it, and it's like
Ugh,
$22.
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
No.
that's not
I do
good.
want to see the
extended cut.
extended cut. Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard.
the Jenna Malone cut, I believe is what they're calling it.
Yes.
I've heard a bit about what it adds back in, and it doesn't seem to fix any of the big
No,
big
I'm
problems.
sure it doesn't. But
So-
I just like seeing it. I watched
Yeah.
it. That's like everybody who people on the internet who defend the 2003 movie Daredevil, and they say the director's cut was amazing, and the studio ruined the movie. So I bought the 2003 Daredevil, and
Yep.
it's basically just has 25-minute extra scenes of Coolio.
Yeah. What movie is not improved by Coolio?
And it's not as good. I actually I used to like it. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I used to like 2003's Daredevil because it was such a tight movie. It was literally just like exposition. Now Ben Affleck's going to fight all these people.
Right.
And it was a very quick movie. It was bad, but it was.
I don't
it
think
was
it's as bad as
watchable.
people make it out to
But
be.
anyway,
it's not good.
Yeah, but the
it's
director's
watchable.
cut took that one pro and ruined
then-
it.
yeah.
And then I gave my brother the DVD because he liked the movie, and I was like, I got the director's cut now. Here, you can take this crappy version. and then I was. It doesn't matter because then my uncle stole my director's cut, so
Yes.
I have no Daredevil anymore.
Yes.
It all
and he
worked
stole
out.
your baloney. We all remembered you.
He stole my bologna and he stole my director's cut of
Now, which one did you miss more?
bologna.
Clearly. All right, guys. I think we're ready for our next topic. Is that where we're at?
I haven't eaten bologna in like 15 years.
I also
No.
haven't eaten.
don't think
They still make it, though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Apparently,
They still
people
make
eat
bologna.
it. I ate it constantly as a kid. My grandma would make me bologna sandwiches.
Right.
I legit haven't had a slice. I don't think I've had bologna as an adult.
I don't know when the last time I ate
No.
bologna was.
In this century.
It may have been in the 90s.
No.
Yeah. Jeez.
We should just change the
Should
name
we?
of the podcast to Bologna Percentile.
I like it.
podcast about everything bologna and maybe also everything before.
I
after.
think next episode,
gonna
we
eat
should
bologna
eat
on
bologna
live.
sandwiches live on the air and just comment on what our opinions are of bologna.
I have a strong gag reflex, especially when it comes to foods
You're not
don't
gonna be
like.
able to eat bologna?
I might puke.
Really? You don't
So
like
you have a weak
bologna's
gag
good.
reflex.
There's a reason why I don't eat bologna.
Oh,
if
I
I
like
like
bologna.
bologna, I'd go out and get some. Right, I'd steal it.
I like bologna, but it's terrible for you. It's nothing but like
that's why you
processed
don't
pig
eat.
anus.
That's why you don't eat it.
It's one of many reasons I don't eat it.
The idea of it just grosses me out now.
Well,
don't-
supposedly, if you put it on a car, it'll wear down the paint.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! All right, we're gonna.
I think.
All right, we're gonna steal a car and steal some bologna, and we are gonna
explains-
test
You don't
that
have to
out.
steal it. You just do. There are
Oh, well,
thousands of cars parked around this area.
this is true.
One of
All
them
right,
is
we're
my
gonna-
girlfriend, so let's be careful.
All right, one car that's not your
We don't want any
girlfriend's.
bologna-shaped stains in the paint.
What if you use pimento loaf? Would like just.
I like pimento
Leaves
loaf.
holes.
Is it-
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Actually, I think I've had pimento loaf.
Okay, hang on.
As an adult,
I've never had pimento loaf. My understanding was it's just bologna with olives in it.
I believe that might be correct.
So you've had pimento loaf, but you don't consider that bologna.
no,
All right.
I think the spices might be. It's a little thicker. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of difference.
I feel like I have moved away from cold cuts in my adult years, and maybe I need to get back to it.
I go on and off.
Like I'll go to Subway every once in a while. I'll get
Yeah.
a sandwich.
No, I go in and
It's
out.
usually like turkey, salami, the
But
classics.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
My cold cuts now, would be turkey, salami, sometimes ham.
Yeah. And
Bologna.
salami is also terrible
like, I
for
used
you.
To, I used to eat liverwurst. We called it liverwurst. Liverwurst.
Liverwurst, yeah.
I don't know why we called it liverwurst.
My dad
but
loves liverwurst, and I hate
I
it.
never realized until just now how weird it is that we called it liverwurst. But
Wait, liverwurst?
Spell that?
liverwurst, like Liverwish.
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a weird thing to call
Now,
liverwurst.
I'm wondering if now that's how I called it as a little kid, and nobody bothered to correct
That's
me.
usually how it happens.
Yeah. All right. So that's embarrassing. But anyway, I used to eat that and really like it. And
Yeah.
now the memory of me sitting at my grandma's table, eating it between two slices of Wonder Bread,
Right.
eating it and enjoying it. The memory of me enjoying it turns my stomach because I'm just like, that's so fucking gross.
Yeah, liverwurst was never my bag.
It was the texture was disgusting.
Yeah,
It was like goop.
I like every day for lunch for high school. I always had a salami sandwich, and I feel like that took years off of my life because salami is just salt.
Salt.
Yeah.
It's just a salt sandwich.
My dad, who has had
Delicious,
2
but-
heart attacks and
Yeah.
he had quintuple bypass surgery, he's gonna have another heart attack. He just eats like shit. He's Italian, and
Yeah.
I watched him yesterday at my nephew's birthday party. We had sausage and peppers, heroes, and I watched him salt it, and I was just like,
No,
you
no.
don't salt sausage.
no,
and
no, no,
peppers."
no. There is enough sodium in there to choke a
I was
horse.
sitting next to him. It was just me and him. Everybody's doing their own thing, and I just was like, he grabs the salt and the pepper. I was like, what's he doing? And I go, oh, okay. He's looking to see which one the pepper, and he does. He looks and he goes, okay, this is the pepper. He puts it down, and he starts salting it. I was like, what? No!
Oh,
Even a
man.
healthy person shouldn't do that.
I'm worried for your your Jack is what I almost said.
No, we all
I'm
are.
worried for your Jack.
No, we've resigned ourselves to that we're gonna find out. We're gonna get a call one night.
Oh,
Dad
God.
dropped dead because he refused to stop salting his
Well, this
sausage
took a
and
dark
peppers.
turn. I thought we were having a fun conversation about bologna, and now we're all worried about your father's health.
He said he knows what he's doing. He says I don't want to live. What's the point of living if I have to eat salad and drink protein shakes and all that?
I
I'm
think
with him.
I think there's a lot to like about living. So
Oh.
whatever.
My father disagrees. Maybe
another-
if you had his awful children.
You know what? You might be right. You might be right, Jack.
Jack's 32 and he still doesn't have a real job. I'm gonna salt. I need more salt on my
Take
sausage.
me to the grave, sausage and peppers.
End this disappointment.
Oh God! All right, I'm gonna get a new topic from the topic generator.
Okay.
Hopefully, something lighthearted and fun
All right.
to get away from this
and we're gonna
sad
do this
topic.
bologna thing next week.
Maybe we'll do a bologna thing next week.
Kevin, if you want to come by, you do live in Bay Ridge.
I do.
If you want to join us for a bologna sandwich, you can.
To eat or talk about?
Both.
We're gonna eat them and talk about them.
We're not going to mic you. You just sit in the corner and just eat the bologna.
Let's do that. Let's just hire somebody
Should we
to just
Periscope
eat
it?
and watch us.
I think
Maybe.
we should.
Maybe we will.
I think we should.
I won't wear shorts then.
We'll open the window,
Yeah, we'll need to.
especially if we throw up bologna.
All right, guys. I got our next topic. It would help us choke down the bologna. It is Pepsi.
Bologna.
Pepsi.
Pepsi Crystal bologna.
Yup, it's Pepsil. Pepsil. God damn it. I wish we could edit this show so badly.
we can't.
It's Pepsi Blue, and that was suggested by Kyle Brown.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know if I've ever... I remember Pepsi Blue, but I don't
Sure.
think I've ever had it. Kevin, you seem like you remember it a little bit more.
I do, but I
us.
might be thinking of Mountain Dew Code Red,
I
which
remember
is
that one.
delicious.
I know the two differences. Mountain Dew is red.
It's true.
Pepsi Blue, I'm guessing, is blue.
Yeah, you got it.
No, Code Red I actually liked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You could only get it at Taco Bell, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it came out.
It was definitely heavily promoted at Taco Bell.
It-
They
Yeah.
were going for that gamer needs fast food.
Yes.
kind
Before
of thing.
Gamer Fuel
No,
came
yeah,
out.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
gotta disagree because it came out when I was a stock boy in a deli, which I was also going to mention before. I didn't eat cold cuts throughout college because I worked in high school at a
no.
deli.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can never eat cold cuts ever again. And then I had
We've already talked about cold cuts,
and then I
Jack.
had Subway for the first time. Anyway, I stocked 20-ounce bottles of sodas and stuff. And I remember when Code Red came in, it was like, whoa, this is awesome. And I would...
They bottled it.
I was allowed to drink, and I was allowed to drink whatever I want while on the job. So I was like drinking tons of this Code Red.
Yeah. Code Red to me is like poison.
Yeah,
would
I don't
never
know why.
drink
Yeah, it's
Code
not good
Red.
for you.
I don't know why I'm giving my dad shit for salting his
Yeah, really.
sausage. when
I was guzzling Code Red by the gallon.
It tasted
Hook it to my
It was
veins.
basically fruit punch, right?
Well, it was like Mountain Dew is already like it's a soda that's flavored with like citrus, but
With
not
urine.
the same way
Yeah.
as 7-Up or Sprite or Sierra Mist
But
or any of the other
Code
citrus
Red
flavors.
doesn't taste like Mountain Dew.
Code Red.
No.
Well, it sort of tasted like Mountain Dew, but Mountain Dew with like a berry fruit punchy type thing layered over it. I don't know. I can't explain. I don't drink soda, so I'm a terrible person to talk to about this.
I remember when I drank it, I remember going, this tastes like blank. Like, I remember it tasted like something I had before, but I can't remember
Okay.
what. I think it was some kind of fruit punch.
All right, let's play a game. What did Code Red taste like to Jack?
Liquid
I'm gonna-
bologna.
Damn it, you took my answer, and I almost destroyed the studio in the process of my rage.
You were very
I
upset.
was very upset. Actually, I'm just looking up Pepsi Blue here on Wikipedia. It was started in mid 2002. Not a 90s topic.
Who
that was
suggested
Kyle.
this topic?
Kyle Brown. No good, man. You got-
Disqualify. we need something. What was like? What happened in 2000 that we could like disqualify? No, not 2001.
Okay.
Not September 11th, 2001.
That's what I thought you were going with this.
2000. We need like Bush and Gore. We need
Right.
like the Supreme Court or the who was running like the Florida, the hanging chads.
Right.
We need a clip of her going disqualify.
We'll get on that.
I do want to, since it is our topic, even though it's not
Well,
90s.
since
Yeah,
we're
I don't
talking
remember
about it
any
already,
marketing.
It was not around very long. It was launched in mid 2002 and discontinued in 2004. So that's not
What
very
is it?
long.
So what
it
is
was
it?
Pepsi. It was tinted blue with Blue One, which was that food dye that they
that
thought
sounds terrible.
they thought for a while like it might have killed your sperm or something. It
I
was
thought
like
that was Yellow 5.
or maybe caused cancer. I don't know
Mountain
what
Dew
it was.
killed your sperm. I think Blue One was cancer.
All right, let's look up Blue One.
I guess that's worse. I guess.
Well.
What kind of cancer? So I have here the Pepsi Blue commercial.
Is that a monk?
Apparently it's Sev, S-E-V. Am I supposed to know who he is?
I don't know who Sev is.
Because usually they get like a big name pop star to do these commercials. Like Crystal Pepsi was Van Halen right now. 100% was Ray Charles. So I'm guessing we're supposed to know who Sev is for Pepsi Blue. Anyway, he's performing Same Old Song. Is that the Four Tops? It is a monk.
I do remember this commercial.
This isn't Four Tops. All right, so we're literally looking at a monk and like a ceremony with this 90s
There seem to be
alt-rock band.
two competing monasteries. One is quiet, one is rocking.
Well, we know that monks do like to compete.
Obviously, the rocking one, they drink Pepsi
Yeah.
Blue.
Blue. It's the mix.
Oh, so this was like
Sounds terrible.
this was like for the Sum 41 Warped Tour.
Yeah, that was definitely this time. Like pop punk was very prevalent in 2002.
Ugh. That just makes it even less likable.
Yeah, and apparently on the Wikipedia page it says it tasted like berries and was described as similar to cotton candy with a berry-like aftertaste. Who the fuck wants to
I don't
drink
feel good.
cotton candy?
Like-
I'm getting a tummy ache already.
Maybe like a shot of that would be tasty, but the
Yeah.
idea of drinking liquid cotton candy,
Yeah.
20 ounces of it,
I think this is why it failed.
that's like even with regular soda or certain kinds of beverages. You see somebody working out in the gym and they drink that. And I'm just like, how is that refreshing?
Somebody at the gym drinking soda?
Yeah, or not,
Ugh.
or like that's not refreshing.
No. Do you guys drink soda generally?
I stopped.
I stopped. I will drink it as a treat because I think Coke and Pepsi to me is delicious. Cola is delicious.
I'm not a cola guy.
Like that genre of.
The only thing I'll have a drink in like a cocktail or something, but other than
Oh, no,
that,
I don't like doing that.
All I ever drink is like ginger ale and Dr Pepper, and only very very rarely.
No, I love the taste of Pepsi and Coke. But
not
I
a big
try
fan.
to only have it if I'm at like a barbecue or
Yeah.
sometimes I get Popeyes fast food.
Yeah, right. Of course.
But it's poison, so it's straight
It
up
is.
corn
It's,
syrup.
it's
So
very, very bad for you. And I feel like in the 90s, like when we were kids, like I was drinking soda all the time. And like
Constantly.
it was just like all we had at my house was Coke. Like that's all you drank is Coke. I feel like I never drank water as a child.
yeah,
and I drink
no,
water
our
all the
parent-
time now.
my mom, we never had soda in the house. We always had like instant iced tea, but that's not much better. It's funny
Right.
because my brother and my sister-in-law, collectively they weigh practically 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
They're large people, and they were like, you got to stop drinking soda. They would drink 2-liter bottles at a time.
Right.
So they've
Oh,
switched.
Jesus.
They've switched to like iced tea and like sweetened iced
Not
tea.
much better.
And they're like, yeah, we're doing good. And it's just like, keep salt and sausage. No, it's the.
Yeah, it's bad for you. I mean,
It's-
there's tons
yeah.
of sugar. You're basically just drinking on pounds. So if you're trying to lose weight, cut out the
Yeah, no,
soda.
like if you're listening
there's
to
the
this,
health tip.
I mean,
Don't
it's-
listen to us for health advice.
It's hard for me to tell people how to parent because I don't have kids, but don't give your kids soda. Like,
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
be the special treat.
Right. Well, it's weird. Like soda originally was a medicine. Like I had a lot of stomach problems as a kid, and I definitely drank like raw cola syrup as like a way.
Really?
Yeah, as it's
Where do
supposed
you
to
get that?
soothe your stomach. You get it at the pharmacy. You may have needed a prescription for it. I don't even know.
That's did you grow up at the turn of the century? You got it at the apothecary.
Yeah, it came in one of those
Carbonic
brown bottles.
Yeah.
Some guy would come along and like with a street cart, like Dr. Phoenix's cola syrup.
I'll take 73.
Well, I do ginger ale for an upset stomach.
I always do ginger ale for an
And it
upset
works.
stomach.
I
think
just
it works.
found out. I
Here's the
haven't
thing.
tried it yet. If you chew raw ginger, it cures your nausea. It's
not worth it.
right away.
It's definitely not worth it. I hate
No?
raw ginger. I love ginger ale though. But there's so little ginger in ginger ale that it really
No,
like
it's corn syrup.
right. But ginger is supposed to soothe your stomach, and yet ginger ale always helps soothe my stomach, and I don't know why.
The bubbles?
It may just be psychosomatic.
I think it is.
The,
Yeah.
the bubbles,
But it never fails.
the placebo, and there's got to be some kind of remnant of ginger in there.
There's just a ginger ghost.
No, I heard if you chew fresh raw ginger, you stop being nauseous. Like
And you
it's,
mean the thing that looks like a little monster?
yeah, like it's
the
always
thing from the end of Cloverfield.
recipes always ask for a thumb-sized piece of ginger, and to me it looks like a human thumb. So So
That's
yeah,
why they go thumb sized.
Yeah, I love ginger. I like putting raw ginger in my.
I
my
don't like
smoothies
ginger
and
at
stuff.
all. Not a fan.
All right, but you love ginger ale.
I love ginger ale.
Ginger ale is now the only drink I'll mix liquor with. I can't do like
Yeah.
rum and Coke anymore. Again,
Yeah.
because it's not refreshing. It leaves
Very
like a
rarely I
weird
will, yeah.
aftertaste where I'm thirsty after my drink.
Well, that's the thing. Like when people are like, "Oh, I'm so thirsty, I need a soda." Soda always makes me more
Doesn't work.
thirsty. It does not work. You need electrolytes.
Yeah.
Get a Gatorade.
Exactly.
This podcast is sponsored by Gatorade.
We're just trying to tell people to be healthy.
Yeah,
Don't eat bologna. Don't drink soda.
No.
Don't salt your sausage.
definitely do not salt your sausage, unless it's like a.
Drink some Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, if you can get it. Actually, if you can get it, it's probably like 15 years old by now, so maybe don't drink it.
I have a feeling it has a shelf life of thousands of years. It has a half life.
You can buy old sodas. You can go on eBay and buy like old drinks from like the early 90s. You can buy, I know they came out with Crystal Pepsi again, but you can buy original Crystal Pepsi.
I
out
did that
there.
once.
Did you really?
Yeah, early days of eBay, 97, 98.
You were
And
just like, I gotta have it.
yeah, ironically, no. I kept it for a few years on a shelf and finally threw it out. And when it was time to throw it out, the can was like half full somehow, and I don't know where it
You've
went.
been
If it
breathing it in.
evaporated
I think
or
you've been breathing it in.
oh, jeez.
You're half Crystal Pepsi by
You didn't
now.
have a Crystal Pepsi monitor? I think
But that's the
Standard in
thing.
every New York apartment.
I'm picturing you throwing it out in like the dumpster behind your apartment, and like 4 little baby turtles crawling in. And a legend is born.
Yeah, there you go. That's how the new Michael Bay Ninja Turtles got their start.
Yeah. They weren't aliens. That's
No,
ridiculous.
No, of course not.
They were floating in Crystal
mutated
Pepsi.
by Crystal Pepsi. My God.
No, actually, April O'Neil. She named them, and they were her pets,
Yeah, it's true.
which is ridiculous in the Michael Bay version.
Yeah. Did you guys see the second one? Out of the
I
Shadows.
I
wanted to.
almost did.
Almost.
I wanted
Almost.
to.
And then your common sense came to you.
No, it looked like the movie I wanted in 1991.
It did look
and did
crazier.
not get.
Yeah.
It
I don't know.
looked- I think
I'll
it-
rent
it
it.
looked
I don't
like-
want to pay any money to see it.
That's why I was excited about this new Ninja Turtle series with Michael Bay. I mean, I've said it before. I have a soft spot for Michael Bay movies and the Transformer movies. They're terrible.
Yeah, they're
but
the crystal.
but yeah, they're the
crystal
Crystal
Pepsi
Pepsi
Blue.
movies. Yeah, they're the Pepsi Blue. But they're watchable. I actually just rewatched Transformers 4 the other day, and I was just like, I couldn't just leave this on, and it is not bothering me.
There are
Man.
4 of them, and you rewatched
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was going to say. I did not watch it in the
Well,
first
I
place.
saw them in the theater. I've seen every single one in the theater. But anyway, so I heard about him doing the Ninja Turtles, and I was like, that could work because as much as I love the first 2 movies, the first movie is, in my mind, perfection. It is just a perfect movie. It would be really cool to see a big budget CGI technodrome leveling skyscrapers in New York City, like a Michael Bay type movie.
Right.
That's a completely different way to do the Turtles, but it fits just as much as the indie 90 version.
I didn't see it, but that seems to be what happens in this most
Except
recent
I'm
one.
assuming they did it poorly, and
Probably.
So then what's
I
the
would
point?
assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Michael Bay does everything poorly. So
I really want to know what Fred Armisen's version of Krang would have been.
maybe it'll be on the DVD. Probably not.
Probably not.
Does he not do the voice?
No, at the last, like literally a week before the movie came out, they recast him with
Brad Garrett.
Brad Garrett.
Yeah.
Different movie.
Shredder. Ma.
Robert, is that you?
It's me, Krang.
Are you here to take over the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, they. I'm jealous of all the attention they get.
Oh, I can't believe it. I'm just a sports writer here in New York City.
Ma.
What are these monsters? There's a warthog and a rhinoceros.
I've got foot soldiers. They're size 15.
I can't believe my brother is Craig.
And see.
Everybody loves Out of the Shadows.
Everybody loves
Krang.
That doesn't make sense.
No,
though.
it doesn't. Everybody loves Raymond, whose brother is
Right,
Krang.
right, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Oh, man.
Pepsi Blue is our
Pepsi Blue
topic.
is our topic. Have we said all we need to
So
say
is
about
it,
soda?
is it
I don't
soda
know.
or is it just fruit drink? Carbonated
It's
soda.
carbonated. It's carbonated.
Oh,
Well, it's Pepsi flavored with berry, like artificial berry
So
flavoring.
it's still cola,
I guess.
or
I mean,
what some people call pop.
it's like vanilla.
Coke.
Oh, let's talk about that. If you call it pop, you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
Sorry to be
My
offensive.
Pennsylvania.
My girlfriend calls it pop.
No, she's a
From
weirdo,
Texas?
Jack.
I think pop is no. It's that's Michigan and Ohio. Texas and the
They
South
just call it Coke.
Coke. And
Yeah.
I think that's weirder than
Coke
calling
for
it
everything,
pop.
like Sprite,
Yeah,
even.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. They'll
Yeah.
say Pepsi Coke if they want a Pepsi.
Yeah, Coke means... So here's the
This
thing.
is real. This is
So
the
in-
listeners are like, yeah, that's how it is.
Well, in New York, where we're from... Okay, but where'd you grow up? In Yonkers,
Yonkers,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so...
So we're all local boys.
Yeah.
For us, soda is what the main way to call this brown carbonated beverage
Right.
is.
It's also a
Yes.
great
But-
name for a baby.
I also think soda's wrong. Oh, yeah, it is. Seinfeld reference. No, I think soda's wrong because soda is seltzer. I think cola, we should like come around and make the national word for this brown carbonated beverage cola because that's what it is. It's cola.
Well,
Cola is
Well, it
Pepsi
is.
is RC
it's
is
Coca-Cola. It's Pepsi-Cola.
Yeah.
It's in there. People just colloquially don't really
but
use
out
it.
of all the different
No.
ways we call it, Coke, pop, soda, cola is not one of them.
No, you only see cola
Right.
like on the generic can
Right.
that Archie Bunker would drink out of.
Yeah,
Exactly,
right.
because that's what it
Well,
is.
because-
That's
Or it would
the
just say
brand-
beer.
That's the generic name
Yeah,
for
right.
it.
But Sprite is not cola. Like Sprite is a soda.
Oh,
There's
see,
no
I'm
cola
not
in it.
talking about carbonated beverage. I'm not
Well,
talking
'cause
about Sprite. I'm talking about
You're
what
talking
you
about
call
caramel
You're talking
cola?
about just
the caramel brown
cola.
cola. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is because the syrup that I used to drink as a child is cola
So
syrup.
I
It's
think
derived
I'm misinformed.
from.
I always assumed the pop Coke soda thing was about all. It was about cola. You're saying it's about all.
Oh no, it's
carbonated.
about all sodas. What I call sodas, which is I think you said like seltzer is soda, like
Okay.
soda water.
All right.
Sure.
Carbonated beverages.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
All
would
right.
say give me a
didn't-
Fanta Coke.
I always thought the debate was over just the caramelized cola.
We can talk about this on our Reddit where we do all our
Okay,
talking.
so no, if that's the case, then yeah, I agree. Soda is the best way to call it these
Yeah,
days.
Yeah.
It's weird. I
Well,
don't
well, pop does make sense.
because it's soda pop. We basically cut out the pop. They cut out the soda.
Pop sounds silly, but
I feel like the country's going to go to blows over this one day.
Look, Coke is terrible.
This is gonna be the second
Coke
Civil
is,
War.
Coke is wrong. That's like, I mean, I guess it's like calling Jello or Kleenex.
Well, but
Kleenex.
it's not even because you're saying like
Sprite. is
Sprite Coke.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's like calling
Yeah, no.
paper
Coke in
towels
it.
Kleenex.
Right.
Yeah, no, that is wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's wrong. Soda is
I'm glad
also,
we're here to tell people what's right and wrong. By the way,
Soda
this is how you live your lives,
soda
people.
is seltzer, although I guess that's soda
Well,
water.
I think there's a
Or
difference
club
between
soda.
there's
Is that
a-
different from seltzer?
It is, but I
There
don't
is, but
like
I don't
either
know
of
the
them, and I
difference.
don't know what the difference is.
Does one have salt?
One of them, well, when Jack's dad is drinking it, it does.
He does salt he salts his salad.
One of them, my wife also puts a lot of salt on things before she tastes it. But anyway, one
so-
of them has quinine in it.
No, that's tonic.
That's tonic.
Tonic. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
Which I used to love,
Or is
and
it-
now it's also
is that how
like
you say it?
bologna.
What's the difference between tonic and club soda and seltzer?
All right, club soda versus seltzer.
This is a learning
gonna
podcast.
put
This is
this
what
on-
we're learning.
Yeah, last week we learned what the schwa was.
Yeah.
Okay, seltzer. This is straight up in the embedded Google response here. Seltzer water
result.
and club soda are very similar. It's in bold, but there
But-
is a notable difference between the two. Unlike seltzer, mineral-like ingredients are added to club soda.
Now, what is a
Mineral-like?
mineral-like ingredient? Yeah, it's like a mineral, but it's not.
sediment?
Yeah.
Does that mean like baking soda?
Maybe.
Is that a mineral?
So,
That could be a mineral.
what's the difference between tap water and mineral water?
Mineral water
Minerals.
has minerals added to
Not
it.
mineral-like.
Not mineral-like substances. It
So-
has minerals.
Am I wrong to say that which one gets the minerals? Club soda. So club soda would be just carbonized mineral water, and seltzer would be carbonized tap water.
Maybe. It seems like they carbonize it. Is that the word? Carbonate. They carbonate it and then add the minerals. I don't know. I'm speaking as if I know anything about how soda is made. I
HuffPo
don't. I
had
know
a feature on it.
You put bubbles in there, and that makes it work.
I'm trying to see where
We're
tonic
now
water-
reading the Huffington Post article, The Difference Between Club Soda, Seltzer, and Tonic Water.
We got to quote our sources here. Imagine we went to jail because we didn't want to let them know what our source was for the club soda seltzer.
We're talking
debate.
about seltzer.
Just because it contains the word water in its name and is carbonated doesn't mean that tonic water is in the same category as bubbly water.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of anything called a bubbly water except as a joke. Bubbly
But
water's
wasn't
a real
Bubbly
thing?
Waters like a 40s jazz guitarist?
Yeah, he was. He was terrific.
Unlike
He
the other,
played the tonic water blues.
I got myself a quinine.
I don't know the difference between club soda and seltzer. These are
It was
the
very
lyrics.
straightforward.
It
lyrics.
was
It was
very-
really more about the.
That's why this article was written. It was to combat seltzer bubbly waters.
I got
song.
the blues, the Pepsi blues.
See, okay, wait a minute. Hang on.
I'm done with this.
Let's go
tonic
back
water
to the commercial we just watched, which was like a pop punk rock song for Pepsi Blue. Why didn't they do a blues song? It's right there. You could even get Ray Charles.
Because
to
they
do it.
did
That
that
would make
for
sense.
Ray Charles.
BB King was that was for Blue M&Ms. BB King was singing the blues.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
also, they're,
All right, so
they're
Yeah.
clearly
someone had done it. All
Like we
right.
said, they're clearly gunning for like the skater crowd here, not the old black man.
The extreme
crowd.
one. Well, that reminds me of. Did you guys ever watch the show Clone High? It was on MTV.
Oh, that was also Dan Harmon, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was Bill Lawrence, the guy that did Scrubs.
And who? Well, oh, it was the,
And,
the
Chris
Spider-Man
Miller
guys.
and,
yeah.
Chris,
Chris.
No, not the Spider-Man guys. The Lego Movie guys.
They're doing the new.
Oh,
Spider-Man.
the animated Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They're not doing Homecoming.
Do I have to explain everything?
Yeah, you do. You can't say
I
that.
can't.
Jack, and no, they're not the Spider-Man guys. If anything, Sam Raimi is the Spider-Man guy.
Well, if anything, Peter Parker is.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true. Hey, it could be Ben Reilly.
Oh no.
I actually have been reading the Clone Saga since we did the episode where we talked about the Spider-Man Clone Saga. So maybe
Why?
we should revisit that later. Why? Because it was on sale on Comixology, and I just bought it all. Okay. It's not
Good
very
answer.
good. Some of it's good.
Good answer. Good answer.
There you go.
Good answer.
I don't remember what my point was. Clone High. There was an episode where they just brought in this like extreme like snack thing, and it was I think it was called it was called like Electric Blue, I think, and it was just
Hey.
like house paint that was blue, and everyone was like drinking it. I feel like it was a reference to Pepsi Blue. Like we're
Probably.
just taking something and making it blue, like Go-Gurt. Go-Gurt's like huge. Kids love
I
Go-Gurt.
know. All right. Here's
Yeah, still.
Here-
It's just a tube of yogurt. It's gross.
here's how we can tie this non-90s topic into our podcast.
Okay.
All right. So this was early 2000s.
Get the bologna sandwiches.
Right after the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always curious. You know, nothing exists in a vacuum. No pop culture trend exists in a vacuum. Why
Except Dyson vacuums.
Except Dyson, they do exist in vacuums.
They do.
Or do they? Or do the vacuums exist in them?
Well, they create vacuums in a vacuum.
Yeah. So why did this brightly colored phenomena? Because it's like we said, it wasn't just Pepsi Blue. It was Code Red, Go-Gurt. Why? What about the '90s precipitated? What led to? Oh, we should make everything blue. Let's make everything extreme.
I feel like the extreme thing, at least, was kind of like 90s music. All of a sudden, alternative rock was like mainstream, and everything was like, the alternative is going to be better. And it's like, this isn't your mama's Mountain Dew. This has red
is that
shit
what
in
it
it.
is? This isn't your mama's Pepsi.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's what it was. Even though Pepsi only came out in the 80s and was like supposed to be the rival to Coke. Like, this is better than
Is
Coke.
Pepsi really that?
Maybe it wasn't
young?
the 80s. But the Pepsi's whole thing, wasn't it for those who think young, was Pepsi? Like, because
wait,
Coke is for
yeah.
old people.
And it can't be that young because I remember like the old Times Square Pepsi Cola
Yeah, I don't know.
logo.
Look, we're not here to talk about Pepsi. We're here to talk about Pepsi Blue. Very different.
Which is
very
not a
different,
90s topic.
Which is not a 90s topic. This,
All right, so that makes
this
sense.
podcast
Okay.
doesn't hold up to
Okay.
any amount of scrutiny.
So Pepsi Blue is not your mama's Pepsi. Okay, I can get behind that.
Right,
Sure.
but I feel like that whole extreme thing was kind of that, and it was just, it's all just marketing. It's just like a way, people aren't buying enough Pepsi. Let's make a shitty blue flavor.
Well, that's why they're desperate now. So right after the Pepsi Blue was, again, I know this as a stock boy, was the explosion of different flavors. You had Pepsi Twist, you had Pepsi
Right.
Vanilla or Coke Vanilla.
Right.
There was extra. There was always cherry Coke around, but now there's like wild.
I do like cherry
and-
Coke, too.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
That's a good one. If you're getting
I
a
get
soda.
that at the movies.
Yeah. you
Well,
get
I
in
think
the
that
movies.
one's more legit because it originated in the bar with like grenadine and Coke.
Okay, sure. Grenadine derived from pomegranates.
Anyway, what they're desperate,
it is.
I didn't.
I
realize that they
didn't
were
know that
cherries.
until the other
I thought
day.
they were cherries.
No, it's pomegranates.
That's what
You
I
can
don't
make
know.
your own grenadine
I
at
always
home
assumed
if
it
you'd
was
like.
like the juice in
There's
maraschino
recipes.
cherries,
It's not. It's derived from
which
pomegranate.
I also would eat like a jar of maraschino
Yeah,
cherries.
with a fork.
absolutely,
with a
I
fork,
would. I used to always
Our
get a
parents were terrible.
I used to always get Shirley Temples like all the time when we went out to eat because I wanted the grenadine and I wanted the they give me the cherry.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I used to eat everybody's
course.
cherries.
All right, real quick.
Going around a
We're running
restaurant.
out of time. So, obviously, now we're a little bit more enlightened. There's more organic. There's more whole wheat.
Right.
We know that soda is poison, and we're trying not to drink as much of it.
Just wait till
So-
we find out whole wheat is poison.
Oh, no, that's gonna be a bad day. Bad
Yeah.
day. My dad salts his whole wheat. So no, Pepsi and Coke. Like, what are they doing now for branding and marketing? How? Because there's really no way to make a healthy Pepsi. It's kind of like McDonald's offering the salad with their Happy Meal.
Well, I feel like
Now it's all zero, Pepsi Zero, and
yeah,
there's
they have like Pepsi One is a thing now.
But it's
Right.
I think
not.
it's 1
I have
calorie.
a feeling they're not being very successful because they
Yeah.
don't. They seem to replace it with something different right away.
And there's Pepsi Max, which is for men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's in it? Like
I don't know.
testosterone?
this ain't your mama's Pepsi.
Shaving cream.
It just there's a tiny pair of balls on every can.
But what Coke
Truck
did,
nuts.
they made you buy bottles even if you didn't want them because they put someone's name on them.
That's
That's true.
It would be like,
we
oh,
could
there's a Jack one. Better buy it for
I
I
Jack.
gotta buy it for
Yeah.
Jack
Yeah.
and give Jack a
Yeah,
Coke.
I gotta be honest. Nobody's ever bought me a Jack bottle or can of Coke.
If
Not
I see
once.
one, I won't buy it.
Nobody,
Yeah.
Not once has anybody ever gone out of their way to get me a named soda.
All right, listeners, send in your named sodas because we want to drink them with our bologna sandwiches.
No, yeah. So they must be struggling. There's really no way to brand a healthy soda.
See,
It's like cigarettes.
I
Like
don't-
there's a stigma now.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they're struggling. I feel like I feel like you're right. There is a stigma, especially around like sugar and drinking and eating too much sugar. It's like
I think there's a green Coke I see in the shelves now. That's like a
That
different,
sounds
like
terrible.
it's natural
Like it's-
sugar.
Oh, you mean it's environmental?
Yeah. Well,
No?
the can's green. Oh. But yeah, it's also
It's actual
I
See, I
think,
think that'd be
sugar,
lime
sugar.
Coke.
I think it's actual sugar. Yeah,
Right.
as opposed
Right.
to corn syrup
HCFS
or whatever. Yeah.
HFC.
Yeah,
But that's not healthy.
it's arguably better, but no, it's not healthy at all. I feel like to answer your point, like what are these companies doing? They're diversifying, and like Coke also owns vitamin water,
right,
which
right.
isn't any healthier than anything, but it's called vitamin water.
But they still got to protect the brand. So Pepsi
Yeah.
Blue, they could have easily just came out with a new extreme blue drink, but they specifically called it Pepsi Blue.
Well, yeah, you want the
So
branding.
what is Pepsi going to? What brand? Like, what do they do? I was going to say Crystal Pepsi because that seems fresher, but we know that didn't work.
No,
Yeah.
So
I think Pepsi blew it. Is what it boils down to. I'll see
I was
myself
working
out.
on one of those things.
It took me about 25 minutes, but we got there. I don't know. I mean, I don't drink soda, and I don't think you should drink soda. You specifically, Jack Picone.
Look, it's unhealthy, but what isn't? I think it's fine in my like to have if I'm drinking like 6 or 7 whiskeys at a wedding, I think I can also have 1 or 2 Cokes at a barbecue.
You earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
You earned it. Congratulations on your drinking. You've won a Coke.
I'm in a race with my father to see who can end their misery first.
A race to the grave. what man and his son don't play that time-honored game?
The father son race to the grave.
Yep. You're like a 3-legged race. You two are tied together and just shoveling salt into your gullets.
It's a good dynamic.
It is. It works well. Your father's been here the whole time and hasn't said anything.
No, he's been
And he won't.
He looks very disappointed, and
He does. He's just
he's
munching on that salty sausage.
eating bologna sandwich.
And that is it for this episode of 90s Percentile.
Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, it sure is. All right, guys. So as we do at the end of every episode, we like to find out what did we learn today. So Kevin, I'm going to turn to you and say, what did you learn today?
I got a new catchphrase.
Oh, what is it?
Keep salting your sausage.
There you go. Bam.
Yeah, I did. That should be like a Trump. That should be on like a GOP convention. Yeah, I feel like there's something
yeah.
very
Yep.
American about that. Like, yeah, your sausage is really salty. Put more salt on it.
Keep salting your sausage. I
keep
think it's a
salting your
great sausage, and I think it's going to make America great again.
You know who doesn't salt sausage? Muslims.
I was going to say Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah, she doesn't. Well, she's a Muslim. You didn't know that? Hillary Clinton is a secret
Obama
Muslim.
and Clinton are both Muslims.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah,
We're getting political
they
here.
go to secret mosques and they collude to fuck the American people over.
Should we talk about the
More like Killary, right? Am I right?
Should we talk about the scare actors? What is it?
Crisis actors?
Crisis
Yeah,
actors.
we said enough about them.
I know we did. Jack, what did you learn today?
I learned that there was a Pepsi Blue, and I'm sure I knew about it at the time, but somehow I've completely forgot about it. It's like gone. It's like eternal sunshine. Like Tom Wilkinson put a Pepsi Blue bottle on front of me, and they deleted that neuron.
There you go.
So there it is.
I learned that baloney is gonna
Has a first
strip the
name?
paint off of a car.
Yeah.
And it has a first name. So Oscar Mayer just hates paint, is what I've learned. He put paint thinner in his baloney.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Kevin, you don't do Twitter.
I really don't.
You went out of your way to tell
I
us.
do if there's some kind of marketing campaign where you have to hashtag to get something for free.
Okay.
That's what I
That's
originally
it.
used Twitter
Yeah.
for.
I
And now
just
I
tried
still
to win.
don't really use it.
I tried to win a trip with Hillary to see Hamilton because I just really want to see Hamilton. So it said win tickets. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give her my email.
What an
whatever.
odd sweepstakes.
Yeah. So I give her my email. I give the email so I could see Hamilton with Hillary Clinton, and I fill out all the information. And the very last thing is how much you want to donate. You get for every $1 you get one
Another
raffle.
chance. Yeah. I've seen things
And
like
I was just
this.
like, well, zero. Just give me the one basic raffle ticket. I was like,
Right.
no, you need to donate at least $1. And I was
Is
just
that
like,
legal?
I don't know. She's the one that's doing campaign finance reform, so I guess this is her plan. But anyway, I was just like, I'm not giving any major candidate $1. So I turned it off. And I
You only support fringe candidates.
Yeah, exactly. Or Fringe.
Yeah,
my favorite
true.
sci-fi show.
To bring it back.
Kevin's cats are named after the
Yes,
main
Peter
characters.
and Olivia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the
Side note: if you want to see Hamilton, I can just call Linny M&M's. We're like best friends, as we talked
I don't
about
want
last
to
week.
I don't want to owe that guy any
All right,
favors.
fair enough,
He
fair
is
enough.
a smug son of a bitch.
I listened to that episode. I don't understand why you think he's smug. We never had the conversation we were going to have.
He knows what he did. So, no, my point is, I didn't even get a chance to win the Hamilton. I'm not seeing Hamilton anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I'm now getting legit like 6 emails a day from the Clinton campaign. It sucks.
That's unfortunate, Jack.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, all I have to do is click unsubscribe or whatever. But
But you're too
You
lazy.
gotta look for it, and
And then it'll tell her.
yeah. And then she's gonna know.
She
Yeah.
gets a secret email on her secret email server.
Like that's
Jack unsubscribed.
I know. I hate telling people how disinterested I am in Hillary Clinton because I don't want them to assume I'm pro-Trump, and I
Right.
don't want Hillary Clinton saying, "Oh, that Jack, he loves Donald Trump."
She's saying that right now, though.
I know.
Ooh,
and
that Jackie loves Donald Trump.
everyone's like, "Why is that your new campaign slogan?" That's very confusing.
That's my Hillary Clinton voice. by the way.
Anyway, so I can be found, and I use this to get my Hamilton tickets at Jackie No Breaks.
And I am
That's
at
Twitter and Instagram.
I am at Then Dan Says. I don't know what my Instagram is. It's probably that. I use that for pretty much everything nowadays.
And
I only tweet about wrestling and comics, and that's about it.
that's all you need to tweet about.
I'm a big nerd.
Also, check out my Use It in a Sentence Facebook page. Just Facebook search Use in a Sentence; it'll come up. I also co-host a rather large Silly Voices podcast.
Oh, I've heard about that show
with,
earlier in this episode.
Certain other person standing right here looking at me, waiting for me to transition to him.
You host a Silly Voice show with Kevin?
I do.
Oh, man. I got to listen to that one.
It's called Silly Voices with Jack and Kevin. Kevin, do one of our trademarked Silly Voices.
I love that character.
That's a fan favorite. That's a fan
Favorite right there.
He's getting his own endorsement deal. He's gonna be Kevin, do the new Pepsi Max commercial slogan with that voice.
It's Pepsi for men.
Delightful. That's the one. I can't wait for that to
Give
hit
them
the
a
airwaves.
Clio right now.
If you want to hear more from us, you can do that on another podcast. It's not the Funny Voices one. It's a different one that sometimes has funny voices. It's called Worst Episode Ever, a Simpsons podcast. That is our Simpsons show that Jack and I do here in Wii Studios. And we also do Sync Points. We've done a few of those.
And
you can check them out. Those are
yeah.
premium commentary tracks for movies.
We've got a fun one coming up soon. It's not soon. We're going to record it soon. It might not come out till 2018.
Yeah,
But,
so stay tuned for that.
yeah.
All right, so with that, you can find all of that stuff at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. And while you're there, you can also support us by clicking through our Amazon banners and shopping like you normally would, or just go right to amazon.weepodcast.com. You guys know all this, or you should. Maybe it's your first episode and you don't know all this. This is what the episode is usually like.
is
It's
why
a
we're
crazy
telling you.
madcap show about bologna and soda. But if you do like the show, click through the Amazon links. If you don't want to spend any money, there is another way that you can support the show.
tell your fucking friends.
Tell your fucking
Tell
friends,
your
bro.
fucking friends. Hey, I got this fucking podcast for you. You're going to fucking love
You're
it.
gonna fucking look. These guys are funny. They fucking talk about sausages.
You ever wonder what it would be like if Ray Romano was Krang's brother?
This is the podcast for you. I drink Pepsi Max.
It was actually, you're actually doing a 6-year-old girl, but she drank a 6-pack of Pepsi Max. She's become this
Yeah.
horrible.
Yes, exactly.
Hairy
That's
monster.
exactly what it is. But if you have another way of supporting the show, and you do, it is giving us an iTunes review, reviewing us on iTunes, giving us those 5 stars. We love seeing those 5 stars. I don't know why I keep saying 5 stars. But if you do, we will read a review that you write, like this review that Kevin is going to graciously read for us.
Well, the subject line is educational and entertaining. 5 stars.
By House.
House. An absolutely wonderful podcast. Jack and Dan use the launching point of 90s nostalgia to talk about all realms of pop culture. And absolute treat.
All right. Thank
That's
you,
a great
Kevin.
review. Is it me or is launching spelled wrong?
Thank you, House.
Is there?
Oh, it's loshing.
It says
Sorry.
washing.
Yeah, all right. I honestly, no offense. It's, we all make typos. I just couldn't tell. I was like, wait, is that how you spell it? It's
is
one
not.
of those words that it kind of, even when it's wrong, it looks right.
Right. Loshing looks like it should be something. But thank you so much for that, House.
House.
We appreciate your feedback. And if you want to be like House, and you do, Because house.
Be a painkiller addicted doctor.
That's exactly right. You can write us an iTunes review as well. All right. I
That
think
too.
the episode has gone long enough. So
Yeah.
we're going to wrap it up.
So thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Come back soon.
I will.
Great.
All right.
Actually, come back next week and eat a bologna sandwich with us on the internet, on live TV.
Absolutely. And that's it for 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
What is that it for? 90s Percentile?
You're a real jerk, Jack.
That fucking asshole spelled launching wrong when he was giving us a 5-star review. What a dick.
That's it for this episode of 90s Percentile. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and we'll see you next week when we eat a bologna sandwich.
In Baloney Town.
In Bologna Town.
Baloney Town.
I'm assuming it's in Germany.
I don't know.